everybody, Dan John here from danjohnuniversity.com. Welcome to our 120th podcast. As always, I'd like to answer all the questions I can and maybe give insights to the ones I can't fully answer. And a reminder, a lot of people don't wait around till the end, so I'm going to do this now. If you have questions, send them to podcast@danjohnuniversity.com, and I'll do my best to answer them. Listen, the thing I like about there's a lot I like about my websites. I mean, it'd be crazy if you didn't. But the thing I like probably the most for me, because I wrote all that stuff, is the forum. Because sometimes something will come up in the forum that just makes me remind myself about a few things. One of our steady people posts a lot, noted that they were overtraining. Well, what happened is they started doing a program that was popular about 2 decades ago, where you're constantly sort of racing. And I'm not going to tell you the program, but every workout is harder than one before. And the person noticed all the things about overtraining. And it got me thinking, and I thought to myself, when I go through my journals, and I've got all of them in a big case back there, because I have journals all the way to 1970, when I first started writing in my weightlifting journal or diary, I keep picking up on the same basic thing, and one of them is that, okay, real quick, there is a value to overtraining. There is, and there's no question about it, but not for most of us. What I notice is when I start moving past 3 weight workouts a week, I begin to drift into overtraining. Now, it's true, I've done more for years, but most of the time, 3 days a week in the weight room is enough. Now, I also believe in 2 mobility days a week, where I just actually focus on mobility, flexibility, getting all the joints moving, including the toes and fingers and everything else. But even with the 3 weight workouts a week, if I go hard on all 3 of them, very quickly I start to get the signs of overtraining. Today, for example, when Mike showed up, I said, hey, I know on paper I'm supposed to do Olympic lifting, but I'm just going to do an easy bodybuilding day. And Mike helped me out on that. We did a great job. Lots of TYNIs, rows, some arm work, building those arm condas. And then we went for an extraordinarily long walk, and I took my 2 3-pound weights for my heavy hands. And when we finished, I smiled and I said, that's what I needed. I didn't need to get punched in the face anymore. The signs of me overtraining, and I noticed this watching some videos of me speaking in England. I was sick when I got to England. I picked up some kind of either a stomach bug or I might have ate something. I'm not sure which one it was, frankly, but I could see in the photos and in the films that I was bloated. So for me, sign number 1 that I'm overtraining is that my belly distends. It's interesting because I know when it's overtraining because my belt will stay the same, but you can clearly see my belly popping. And it's a weird thing to explain, and the interesting thing is I can lose inches off my waistline in just a few days by, eating the foods I should eat, and not beating myself to death in the weight room. The other sign of overtraining for me is I get these big bags under my eyes because I'm always kind of And the third one is really interesting for me. When I overtrain, when it's time for me to meditate, mentally I have a fight in my head because part of my brain will say something along the lines as, it's too much work to meditate. It's too much work to put on my little mask and my Bluetooth earphones and click on brain.fm and listen to someone guide me through a meditation. So obviously, when I overtrain, I have digestive elimination issues. I have obviously bloating issues, skin issues, and I have issues up here. That's a pretty tough 3 for 3 right there, folks. So the value in having a forum like we have at Dan John University is that someone can come in a few weeks and say, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and a whole choir of people will go, yeah, that same thing happened to me too when I was stupid and overdid things. So whether or not you join the forum or not, be sure you're in some kind of community with people you can share information on. I think that's just so important. You're more than welcome to go to danjohnuniversity.com's forum. And what I like about it there is that people truly are kind to each other. And if you ask for help, you will get paragraphs of responses. It's nice to have a community of people who support you and don't demean you, which has not been the truth for the last few years. Well, let's get to some questions. Basam asks us a question. How would you design a program that was focused on preventing back injuries? We'll stop right there. Well, okay, it's hard to prevent injuries, except when it comes to backs. And I'll tell you that the best thing you can do is don't let that waistline get over half your height. So, Basam, if you're 2 meters tall, your waistline can't get over 1 meter. For my Americans, if you're 6 feet, 36 inches, and of course my joke, is I just need to grow taller. That's very funny. So I would say first and foremost, keeping a leaner waistline as best you can. The second thing I'd recommend, and even you're going to mention Stu McGill in a second, Stu really got me going on this. Walk. I think walking might be the best thing you can do for your lower back. Once I started incorporating walking immediately after my Olympic lifts, I haven't had a tinge of issue, and that goes for the whole train of the posterior chain of from the back of my knee to my traps, and I think it honestly is the walking. But let's look at your question now. I had 2 herniated discs and recovered fully using walking and Stu McGill's exercises. Well, that's pretty good advice. The curl up, the side plank, and of course, who can forget the third one? Me. I'm pain-free and have no symptoms now and would like to get back to training. What would you recommend to avoid re-injury and still maintain a balanced program? Sure. Push, pull, hinge, squat, loaded carry. Your push, your pull, and the squat should be the exact same numbers. So if it's 3 sets of 8 in the military press, it's 3 sets of 8 in the row or lat pull down, 3 sets of 8 in the front squat. 2 weeks later, you'll do 3 sets of 8 in the bench, 3 sets of 8 in the horizontal row, and 3 sets of 8 in the back squat. And 5 sets of 5, 3 sets of 5, 5 sets of 3, whatever. Just play around with the numbers. What I just said isn't bad. For the hinge, because of the back issues, find a deadlift or swing variation that you feel not just confident about, but like ridiculously confident. Like if you're doing rack deadlifts, and I usually say 1 inch below the knee or 1 inch above the knee, go 3 or 4 inches above the knee or whatever, whatever you can do. Hinge safer than you think. And then on loaded carries, suitcase carry. Stu McGill agrees with this. Push, pull, squat. Get a nice balance in there. I think I wouldn't go heavy on the squats necessarily in the beginning. That's why there's great value in the goblet squat and the overhead squat, which is going to give you mobility and flexibility that's kind of hard to find. And then the suitcase carry is marvelous, and just figure out the hinge and walk. Basam, I already think you're doing a lot of the right things. I would keep doing Stu's exercises, but I would sprinkle them into some kind of a period away from the weight room, so that I don't know if you do them before you go to bed or midday or when you wake up in the morning. I don't know when you do them, but try to have like your weight workouts here and your daily Stu McGill exercises here. I like the idea of doing the Stu McGill Big 3 on the back and then going for a walk every day. Boy, that's by itself would be money. Boy, I hope that helps. And a lot of our listeners have back injuries, and it's helped a lot of other people. Same basic advice, and I hope it helps you. We have a question from Phil. I had a brother named Phil. Have you ever heard of Turkish get-ups giving someone bursitis in the knee? Well, depending on how you were taught, I could see how you get into the windshield. I teach the windshield wiper, but if you're rubbing that knee on the ground, yeah, I could see that happening. Working up to 32 kilogram Turkish get-up seems to have caused it without any pain in the knee while I perform the lifts. I'm wondering if you have any idea what I'm doing wrong to cause the bursitis. Well, yeah, if you're not... So if I'm in the kneeling windmill position, okay, and I have my left hand, left knee, and left foot on the ground. My right foot is flat at the 90, and my right hand is loaded. When I come up to this position here, what I do is I pick up my right foot, the one that's not on the ground, and bring myself into the lunge position. If you're twisting on the ground like some people teach, which makes no sense to me now that I know the other technique, maybe that's it. But yeah, I don't have any idea why that would be hurting you, Phil, at all. It is a lunge heavy exercise for a few seconds, and lunges bother some people's knees. But you specifically said bursitis, so that makes me think that you either you hit it or rubbed it wrong. But geez, I don't know. Have someone with good eyes look at it, good hands look at it, and get back to me, okay? We have a question from Fabian, my brother Gary's confirmation name. Could you maybe let me know a few possible extensions of the Humane burpee? So is it intended to be determined with more reps as harder version, or maybe also combined with more exercise? No, somebody did that the other day. They show me this massive thing, and it just gets stupid after a few things. The basic Humane burpee is 15 swings, 5 goblet squats, 5 push-ups. 15 swings, 4 goblet squats, 4 push-ups. 15, 3, 3, 15, 2, 2, 15, 1, 1. The actual one that we first started with was 15 swings, 10 goblet squats, 10 push-ups, 15, 9, 9, 15. And that's going to be, then you'll go all the way down to ones. And that is, of course, it's a lot of push-ups and goblet squats. It's 150 swings, 55 goblet squats, and 55 push-ups. A variation when you don't have much time, which I like, is 15 swings, 8, 8, 15 swings, 5, 5, 15 swings, 2, 2. And it's only, it's not very many swings. It's 45 swings. But you get 20 goblet squats and you get 15 goblet squats and 15 push-ups, which is not bad, which is not a bad little here you go workout. If you're doing more than the 10-10, obviously the workout is, you're beyond the workout. That's one of the things that I really try to emphasize with people. Like, well, since you do a 10,000 swing challenge, why don't you do a 20? Well, that's just stupid. I have no issues with increasing load, but sometimes a workout is a workout. So there are your answers for you, Fabian. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, Jason, after being in the ICU for 3 weeks due to COVID is a bad thing, folks. Wear your mask, take care of things. I notice how very weak I've become, lost the majority of my strength and muscle, but now I'm back with a reignited fire to become strong. Before I got COVID, I was doing easy strength, which did wonders for me, but now it has become very taxing on the body. Wow, easy strength, okay. So I decided to combine the 1 lift a day program with easy strength. I know nothing, so bear with me. Sunday push, Monday pull, Tuesday hinge, Wednesday goblet squat, Thursday loaded carry, Friday L-sits, Saturday off. Every week I intend to switch the number of sets and reps. The goal is to be able to do easy strength again. I'm going into week 2 and it seems to work. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I also walk at a slower pace for a few miles, just doing everything one step at a time. I only train with 1 kettlebell and sometimes do heavy hands. What do you think about what I'm doing? Do you have any other tips for me? I would kind of maybe separate the heavy hands out until you really do come back. I may have had COVID. I've been before the vaccinations. But the people I do know who've had tough cases of it said that the recovery is much, much longer than they thought. I like your idea with the 1 lift a day. Stay with that for a while. And don't get cute. Just do the movements and enjoy it. But when you walk, just walk until you kind of feel like you're back to where you needed to be. Your body's gone through a lot and you need to recover and get back. You need to get back going again, okay? And I do hope this is all behind you, okay? Thank you. Stay healthy. We have a question from Ryan. This is a tough one. Ryan says, this year I tore my left hip labrum after spending most of COVID times focusing on barbell squats. I've never been injured before, and I didn't realize I had a problem until the pain in my left side started making it difficult to walk. I don't know how you know you tore your left hip labrum. Was it an accident or was it something in the gym? That seems like a pretty bad injury. The hips are extremely strong. Talk about having your blinders up. In retrospect, I only started having problems when I got a squat rack during lockdown and started to chase the numbers. Aha. With rest and physical therapy, my pain is resolved and I'm finally back to normal activity. Lots of walking, good, some banded physical therapy exercises, in addition to kettlebell ballistics, barbell pulls, and overhead work, none of which has ever caused me pain. I hope to at least goblet squat again, but being ultra conservative in my progression, as the injury process was generally frightening. Yeah. The specter of surgery and the consequences to my well-being have scared me straight. Lifting is in service of life, not the other way around. Here, here. Given that squats are out for me, is there anything you might think it wise to pay particular attention for balancing out all the hinging? Then he goes on to say, I might be just overthinking and complicating it. Yeah, you are. If you can get the goblet squats, and if you can deadlift, and if you can do the ballistic kettlebell stuff, you're done. You nailed it. You'll be happy the rest of your life. The movement of squatting is important. The load is not. Goblet squat when you can. I teach people the door knot squat. It's when you hold on and you let all the weight. It's great with a rope or a suspension trainer. You put all the weight in there and you practice squatting. That's what I did to overcome my total hip replacements. The work of Tim Anderson's Original Strength. We have a really good piece on that on the site in the downloads at DJU. Yeah, I think you'll be fine, especially if you have this idea that you seem to have that you're doing this for the long haul. You gobble squat every day, and you'll be happy. Well, at least I know when you're my age, okay? Hey, thank you, and I hope that helped. We have a question from Toby. I am going for blood tests this week. Okay, this is important as you hear the question. However, I'm a strength athlete. My strength has gone down considerably in the last 2 weeks. I'm glad you're getting blood tests. I was benching 330 about 2 weeks ago, and about a week ago I had trouble going up 225 for a single. Yesterday I was able to put up 225 for 4 reps, but as you can see, there's been a considerable drop in strength. I hadn't been taking time off. I weight train 4 days a week and do cardio every day, sometimes twice a day. I have been using pre-workout twice a day, even though it says only once a day. I don't know what pre-workout, maybe it's a drink or something. Barring anything disastrous on my blood test, have you seen people who overtrain have the same or similar drops in strength from going too hard? I say we withhold until the blood tests. But yeah, I mean, if you're taking these pre-workout drinks, which I think you're doing, that stuff's going to catch up to you. I mean, I get it. And you know, I drink a ton of coffee before I work out, but you know, the thing is, it's coffee, you know. I mean, the ingredients, cocoa beans, and then they ferment them, they roast them, they soak them, they do all these things, and then I open it and I make in there. I know what's in my coffee. Yeah, you could easily be overtraining. In fact, the cardio twice a day, I don't get that. The cardio twice a day is probably the problem by itself. It's going to be real. You say you're a strength athlete, but you're doing cardio twice a day? I mean, you should be lifting twice a day, I guess. Yeah, let's wait on those blood tests, but I would say yes. If those blood tests come back with no bad news, you are overtraining, and I would suggest you stop overtraining. We got a question from Scott. I recently passed the 1-year anniversary of a fall off of a stepladder while organizing shelves in my garage. Fortunately, I only ended up with a few cracked ribs, but it could have been worse. A few years ago, I also suffered a broken bone in my hand from slipping backwards on a small downhill slope. I'm 63 years old and heard you talk about the importance of people learning how to fall to minimize injuries. I know you have included tumbling drills and programs for younger athletes, and was wondering if you have suggestions for us older folks. Yeah, one of the things I recommend is I'm certain they're in close to you. There's martial artists. Hire one of them for an hour, half an hour, to teach you the basics of break falling, of dealing with falls when they come. Basically, it's going to be, protect this kind of important little thing here, your skull. Even, I was, that's what we were taught in judo, was this. And man, I still, when I fall, my first thought is protect that head, bring it up. Just practicing the fall is helpful. Now, you also note here, was there some basic movements that might help in small jumps? I want you to Google my name, Dan John, and look for the vertical windmill, the vertical bird dogs. I'm sorry, the vertical bird dogs. And it's all about standing on one foot. I love the idea of loaded standing on one foot. So you carry weight in one hand and you practice standing on one foot. When you're drying the dishes, stand on one foot. So the vertical bird dog family, the stand on one foot, are going to be very helpful. And then I'm going to add one more little drill. It's an isometric, but boy, it can just roast your butt. Seriously. So you're going to stand on one foot. And so if my left foot is down, I'm going to take my right hand and I'm just going to reach and I'm going to tap my thigh. And then I'm going to hold my knee. And then I'm going to hold where I'm going to top my tube socks. And then I'm going to reach down lower and lower and lower till I can touch my shoelaces, and I want to hold each spot. If you can, come back up, which you'll notice, and let that right leg, if my left foot is on the ground, the right leg is going to head straight back like in an airborne lunge, but just practice. So what you're doing here is the step before break falling, which my good friend Taylor Lewis calls stumble proofing. And I even do a little drill where I practice stumbling. There's a couple ways to do it. One is you just get yourself speed skating, just with your feet. So I go to my left and then I go up to my right. You're up, I'm up. When I go this way, I'm only on my left foot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my ear until I start to lose balance, and then drive myself here, drive my ear until I start to lose balance. I have this on a YouTube video for sure. And that little drill really seems to help a lot of people, and it might help you a lot. I'm a big fan of and on the speed skater drill, I don't really have anything too good to work with here. I'll crush those. I'll just use a Scotch tape thing. Okay. But if you put something here, a tennis ball works the best, or a lacrosse ball, or American baseball, and do the same drill here. This is the startle. What I'm doing is I'm making you have the startle reflex, okay, by holding this here. And so, because most of the time when you slip, you're going to be in the startle position. So maybe do left, right, left, right, left, right for maybe 10 reps normal, 10 reps with the ball here, and then do 10 reps without it to just see how, if you can control the startle reflex, you can probably help yourself stumble-proof yourself up a little bit better. Hope that helps. We have a question from Daniel. Daniel, what a lovely name. I wonder if there's a connection we can make between using a hammer and increasing strength. The first time I looked at this question, I thought you were going in a different direction. If you compare a new builder swinging a hammer with an experienced builder, you'll notice that the experienced builder not only hits more accurately and uses fewer strikes, but also hits harder. Is there a connection with this and strength? Yes. Getting strong is neurological. I hate to hurt my body composition friends and neighbors, but yeah, you will get hypertrophy from lifting weights, but the number one thing that your body is doing is making neural adaptations, which is how you get stronger. And of course, I'm a big believer in the way Maffetone teaches it, where first we train the nervous system, and then we get that, well, Rob Wolf calls it that hormonal cascade. Can precision or aim take something light and link it to strength? For example, Navy officer Eric Gutman describes how he rarely goes above 300 pounds for a deadlift, focusing instead on making the movement easy and perfecting the groove. Well, yeah, one of the great lessons I've learned in my life, and I learned it way too late, is that I wish I would have just trained at 70% in the Olympic lifts for the bulk of my career. Just practicing with beautiful technique and just getting the reps, hundreds and hundreds of reps, and then slowly inching up the load of those 70%ers. But I didn't. But yes, I think you're absolutely right. And just remember, when you read good strength coaches, you'll notice that the conversation about the nervous system is always right there first and foremost. Wow, that was it. That went quite quickly. So episode 120 in our belt. Remember, if you have questions, podcast at danjohnuniversity.com, and I'll do my best to answer each and every one. And remember, until next time, keep on lifting and learning.